Hi, it's Emmy here from This Kawaii Life, and today I am going to be talking about Australian pop conventions, what I have learned so far. So, for almost a year now, I have been trading at pop culture conventions here in Australia, selling my laser cut acrylic jewellery, and I have had an absolute blast. Obviously, it's slowed down a little bit in the last couple of months thanks to a certain pandemic, but it really hasn't stopped or quelled my thirst to go back to conventions in future and continue to sell my wares. And I do realize that I really enjoy doing this stuff, and I know there's other people out there who might be considering attending conventions and selling their own wares. So I thought I'll just put together a little video to let you know the 10 things that I have learnt that are vital to know if you're thinking about attending conventions too. So let's get into it. So number one, big city cons are expensive. So you are looking $400, over $400 for the Supernova conventions in the major locations, and MadFest and Oz Comic Con do come in a little bit cheaper most of the time, but they're still quite hefty. So just be aware, for these larger conventions you are going to be paying quite a lot to attend. So you do need to make sure you factor that into your costing if you are thinking about jumping on board. Regional conventions are a lot cheaper, but do keep in mind they have a lot less reach and a lot less customers coming through the doors, but they can be just as rewarding for you. So it's up to you on what you can start with. I started with a regional, and very shortly after went for one of the biggest ones in the country. It worked out for me, but you know, it's up to you and how much risk you want to take as to which way might be better for you. Number two, know your niche. Have a niche. Every time I've managed to walk around in any one of the Supernovas or other conventions that I attend, especially the larger ones, there is a lot of the same stuff, and that might not be good for you. So being a newcomer, you might not be able to break in and actually make a really big splash if you are doing the same things that everyone else is doing. So make sure that you have a point of difference to your competitors so you can shine. Number three, merchandise is king. All right, so when I say merchandise is king, I'm meaning merchandising is king. So make sure that you have a mix of color, height, depth, interest on your table. I do see a lot of very plain tables that don't really draw people over. So make sure that you have a mix of different design elements to really draw people over to see what your table is all about. So as you can see from photos of my tables, I use height and color with a very simplistic modern style to it for many reasons, which I can explain later in another video, to really draw people over to my table, pique their interest, and really get them shopping. It's good fun. It works really well for me. So I really do recommend you invest time in figuring out how to display your table if you're going to a convention. Number four, stand up and engage. So when you are at conventions, make sure that you are greeting people. When they're coming over to your table, say hello, make them feel welcome. Don't just let them have a look and then carry on. It's not great business. You are selling yourself as an artist, and you are selling your wares. So make sure that you engage in conversation, and you at least say hello to everyone who comes over and gives their time to have a look at your work. Number five is know your costs. So it's very important for you to understand all the costs involved in your business. So every single time you go to a con, you know how much you need to make to break even, and also what your goal is. So make sure you do all of that spreadsheeting to make sure that you are aware of all of that information. Number six is clear pricing. So my pricing system is a little bit different to some other people's. I have business cards that are my backing cards for my jewelry pieces, and depending on what color card it is, will correlate to a particular price. So sometimes it is more difficult to do, but once I explain it, I only have to explain it once. Should refer them to my little cheat sheet, and then they are good to go. I also as well keep everything rounded, so 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 and $40 price points, and that means I don't need to deal with coins in my float, and oh my gosh, do recommend. Other than that, it leads us into our next point, which is number 7. Have a card payment option. So I have a Square reader, which is $59 to get it. It works Bluetooth to your mobile phone, uses your data to help process credit card and debit card payments. So I do really recommend getting something like that. More than half of my transactions are on card if that option is available to my customers. So make sure that you have it with you, it's fully charged, you're all set up, and you are ready to go, and you understand how to use it as well. It is super awesome. We are very lucky to have it here in Australia. I do understand that not many countries across the world have access to such an affordable card payment processing option for us little artists. Number 8, which is don't be afraid to do a deal. So I don't discount so much in my business. I do the flip side. I will do a deal or I will throw something in for free. I do this for a couple of different reasons. Not only do I want to worry about percentages off when I have such a round pricing system to avoid coins. As soon as I add percentages off or dollars off, it's also more work for me to import that data into my payment POS system with Square. So what I do is I take the easy approach by either being like, oh, I'll throw this one in for free, or have this little free gift or something like that. So for me, it's still providing a great offer for my customers, but at the same time making it easier for me when I might be busy or juggling a couple of people at once to simply be like, oh, here's a free gift, there you go, I'll see you later. Instead of being like, okay, just let me do the maths. Okay, so that's 20% off that, and then I've got to put it in. You know, that's not a great experience. So keep it simple, always a great way to go. So another thing as well that I do see a lot of other people not really taking into consideration when attending conventions is number 9. Bags. I know it might be a contentious thing. It's like, oh, but you know, we're trying to reduce waste and all that jazz. Also as well, a lot of people who are already in costume probably haven't thought about bringing an eco bag with them. So I would recommend thinking about a way of packaging your goods so that you can put it all together nice and neat for a customer and they can easily carry it without burden after your purchase. You don't want to make their day harder, you want to make their day brighter. So always keep that in mind. I have little craft bags that I've had people comment they're cute. They're like the simplest little thing, but for me it keeps all my products together, it keeps them protected. I can put my business card in there as well, and they have the whole kind of experience that they might normally have at a retail store in my little table, on my little table, on my little table. So it's a good experience. And alright, so this brings us to the last, but definitely not least, number 10. Be prepared and grateful for compliments. This was a little bit hard for me to wrap my head around at first. I'm normally not one to be good at receiving compliments. I'm normally very flippant and be like, oh yeah, it was nothing. But that isn't a very good experience for your customers. So make sure when customers are saying how much they love your work, that you are very, very grateful and thankful for that comment. So I know it seems like something a little bit more emotional than practical. It is still very important to make sure that you're in the right mindset to ensure that your customer experiences are on point. And that wraps it up. So if there is anything else that you guys are interested in regards to Australian conventions and attending them as an artist, please comment down below and I'll try to answer them as best I can. If you think that there is something else business-wise, creative business-wise, that you just cannot find out about on the internet and maybe want to ask me, also comment down below. But that is it for me. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you guys again soon. Bye.